Hey Crushers, Young here, and I'm bringing you a new Crush Them All video. Today's video is going to be covering some of the best rune choices for some of the more popular heroes in Crush Them All. But before we get started, as always, if you have any questions or comments after watching this video, I would encourage you to leave them in the comment section below, or reach out to me through the official Discord, which you can reach through the settings of the game here in the community section. I would also ask you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. That way you can catch all my videos when they come out, and stay up to date on all the latest Crush Them All news and information. Starting our discussion, I would like to begin with some basics. At the absolute core of the system is frontline and backline. If you're not sure what hero goes with what runes, you can usually safely assume that a frontline hero needs vitality runes, and a backline hero needs damage runes. The object of this and my next few videos is going to be to go more in depth on several hero rune choices, and we're going to start off by looking at Crushers. We're also going to be taking a look at the Archer Trio in this video. Please take note, in this guide, we'll only be looking at the first 2 rune sets. If you have 3 sets, you should probably have a pretty good idea about what your rune sets should look like already. So starting us off, the first Crusher we'll be looking at will be Atlantus, the Water Crusher from the Mad King event. Atlantus is a great Crusher, but choosing the right runes for him can seem daunting. If you're going for damage in events, I'd recommend using Swift and Precise runes. And if you're going for survival, you can swap out your Swift for Nimble runes. With some luck, you'll get some extra freeze in by adding in the Chilling runes. PvP is where things get interesting though. Damage runes are going to be the top choice for your first set. Being water, you could use Chilling runes, which increase your freeze chance. Being a Lancer, you could use Stunning runes, which will help increase his stun chance. And having a 2-star ability that deals area of effect damage, you could use Splash runes. With all of these options, it's easy to be overwhelmed, so here's where it matters. He is not likely to survive long on the front line, and increasing his area of effect is not helpful because of his limited attack range. It keeps him from being able to hit the back line of your enemy heroes. So if you look at utility, there are options with either Chilling or Stunning, as you can see here, but even these options often leave Atlantus wanting. Ultimately, I'll recommend Vitality with Attack Secondary, and Damage with Attack Secondary. An alternative set would be to run Vitality with Attack Speed, from your Swift runes. And Swift with either Attack Speed or Attack Secondary. This alternate set may help you get in an extra 2-star attack, which, deals stun damage and area of effect. So, in the end, you'll have to make a choice based on what you have going for you. Next, we're going to be taking a look at Furiosa. Now, Furiosa is the next hero that we're going to be looking at on today's video. For Furiosa, I'd recommend Nimble and Flanks runes for increased survivability. If you're needing increased damage in events, then go with Swift and Precise. PvP builds shake everything up. There are a few viable builds, but personally I'd use Flanks and Vitality runes on her to help hold your front line together as long as possible. The other commonly used top set is Vitality and Damage runes to increase her damage per second, or DPS. If you're not wanting to switch back and forth, then I'd recommend just sticking with Nimble and Flanks runes. The next one we'll be looking at is going to be Groovine. Groovine is next up, and she is going to represent more of a standardized build. For her, you'll simply want Precise and Swift. She is a backline hero, so if you use her in both events and PvP, there is no need to swap sets. If you're struggling in events and need just a little edge, then you can swap the Swift for Nimble runes, but generally speaking, you'll just want to stick with Swift and Precise for her. One Eye is the next Crusher we'll be looking at, And One Eye is a little more complex. Precise and Swift is what you'll want to run for damage and events. Again, swap Swift for Nimble for survival purposes. However, moving into PvP, you'll definitely want to bring in Nimble runes to take advantage of that high base evasion stat. And in addition to that, you're also probably going to want either Swift or damage runes. He has a base attack speed that's pretty decent, so maximizing on that with Swift runes is usually a solid choice for him. And finally, when it comes to Crushers, we will be taking a look at Sorrow. Rounding off the Crushers is Sorrow. Sorrow is the DPS powerhouse and fortunately can run the same set in both events and PvP modes. Both Precise and Swift runes help propel her damage to make her already dangerous power that much more intense. Alternatively, for PvP, you could swap in damage runes and get slightly higher DPS for those modes, but ultimately there should be a minor difference. One thing I would not recommend would be Rage runes. If you do run Rage runes, it could just be for the potential of increased DPS, but ultimately you're going to get more viability from Swift or just from straight up damage runes for PvP than you're going to get from Rage runes. And this brings us to the Archer Trio. The first of which that we'll be taking a look at is going to be Alda. And the Archer Trio, of course, is Alda, Dark Hunter, and Valkyrie. We'll start by taking a critical look here at Alda first. For events, the rune she has ultimately doesn't matter at all. She's only used in events for her 4-star ability. So, instead, we'll take a look subjectively at her PvP runes. First and foremost, we should look at her decent base attack stat. The stat can be amplified with damage or Swift runes utility-wise, which is how I was most recently using mine. She brings a decent amount of burn to the table. Burning runes increase burning duration. Not substantially, mind you, but enough to make an impact. Generally speaking, though, I'd just slap a single set of damage runes on her and move on. Next, we're going to be taking a look at Dark Hunter. And Dark Hunter, boasting a higher base attack stat, star for star as his female counterparts, makes him really a force to be reckoned with. As with Alda, the runes he has in events do not matter at all. Also, like Alda, my recommendation would be damage first, Swift second. Given how valuable he is in events, this should be one of the heroes you're giving substantial focus towards. You can farm his medals from the Sorrow Crusher chest and with arena coins. Make him 7 stars as quickly as you can, and awaken him to at least the 4th awakened star, maybe even the 5th. You won't regret it. Because of this, you'll want to get him to weapon level 6 and run the most damage dealing runes that you can. Damage with attack secondary, Swift with attack secondary, runes like these are going to be his bread and butter. And wrapping up today's video is, and also the final within the Archer Trio, is Valkyrie. Now Valkyrie, unlike her other 2 counterparts, Valkyrie's runes and events do matter quite a bit, and fortunately they make a good set for PvP modes as well. Valkyrie benefits tremendously from a level 6 weapon, and a set of chilling and frozen rune sets. If you had to choose one over the other, I'd personally lean to the freeze time given by the frozen set first. After personally running both sets, I saw more overall benefit from the frozen set over the chilling set. These sets do translate nicely in Arena as well, which is nice, and they're almost too good in Blitz, especially if you have a Frost Queen supporting her. And that is all I have for today's video. I would like to make a shout out to several community members who helped contribute to this video through various amounts of feedback. Pookie, Crimtane, Raven, Ashen, and Kaz all contributed along the way. I appreciate the feedback and contributions of all of you, and thanks for watching.